You got this and you got that, and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me. I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Only Friends podcast. We are Les, our gracious host, our special host. Conrad's out the rest of the week. He went to Run Good in San Diego with Corey and the crew, so it's just me and the kids.
I love that shirt.
Yeah. See what you did there, Brian?
Emphasis on kids.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize. You told me you bought it from Pittsburgh.
Steel City.
Pittsburgh company. I didn't realize it until I looked. I was like, oh yeah, those are kind of Pittsburgh colors there.
Yep. They kinda are.
Yeah, kinda.
Well, I mean, there's like a white in there, which I don't know. You know.
We don't wear white in Pittsburgh.
Well, everybody wears white. Like
right.
white is just the away team color.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, wow.
It threw me off.
It's not Philly green, is it?
No, it's not.
Birds.
Go Birds.
Relax.
Are you like going into like bird withdrawal?
Honestly, I kind of understand like why you guys.
You ready for 2024 season?
Yeah, I kind of am.
This is what happens.
I think I need to start watching basketball.
You need
now.
another sport. Yeah, baseball's coming up very, very soon.
I like baseball.
There you go.
I actually really like watching baseball.
Phillies are good too.
Philly's very good.
Yeah.
I actually am a Yankees fan.
Okay, they're really good too. There you go.
But I'm only a strictly early 2000s Yankees fan.
That's fine.
Oh, well.
That's when they were really
good.
good.
News is
Hideki
that's
Matsui,
over.
Yeah,
Derek Jeter.
Mm-hmm.
There's plenty of Japanese players in the league.
Yeah,
you should be a Dodgers fan. They now have.
I shouldn't.
Otani.
Well, they have Otani and they have the new Japanese pitcher that they gave.
It's not about Japanese people. It's more.
You just named a bunch of Japanese
I just
people.
named Hideki Matsui one.
Yeah.
I saw where you were going with it.
Well, no, but that was because when I was growing up, my mom was like so
Ichiro.
diehard Yankee fan, and she painted our basement like pinstripes, like and bought all this memory. It was really weird, actually. She like got into the rabbit hole of memorabilia. But yeah, like Derek Jeter and what's that guy's name? The pitcher, whatever.
Okay.
You know?
Could have been one of many.
Pete
Pettit.
Ichiro.
Yeah.
Pettit. Yeah.
Pettit was nice.
Mm-hmm.
Pettit was real nice.
She go, oh, Pettit. Oh, Jeter. Oh, I love Jeter.
Could see someone that looks at Jeter.
I know, right? The way my mom looked at Jeter.
Yeah. Yep. Man, good times.
Good times. So yeah, I'm a Yankees fan.
All right, go Yanks.
I gotta be. My family is Yankees.
Great. You and Conrad have something in common.
I know.
Just what we've been looking for.
Actually,
it's the only thing I have in common with the like shitty New York fans of football.
Well, you know what?
Right.
I actually do you know who Anthony Volpe is? He's a Yankee. He's a young.
No,
it's
I
like
gotta
his
get
second
familiar
year.
with the new Yankees.
Yeah. So Anthony Volpe. He plays, I believe, shortstop or third base for the Yankees, and I actually play with his grandfather at South Point.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good old JJ.
We should get him on the podcast. Shout out to JJ.
Shout out to JJ.
Shout out to JJ.
We bonded over being Italian. He's like,
Right.
oh yeah, I'm Italian, because Italian people like to tell you that they're Italian, and I'm like, yeah, I'm Italian too.
You guys are fast friends.
And then we became
Can't
fast friends.
confirm.
And, yeah.
Italian people do like to
They
tell
do.
you
We do.
that they're Italian.
We can't help ourselves. It's like people from New York too. They like to tell you they're from New York.
Yeah, because it's
like I'm from New York,
because it's a strong culture.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
the Italian Americans have a really strong culture.
Yeah, Michelle gets mad when people be like, "I'm from New York." I'm like, "Oh, really? What borough?" And they're like, "Buffalo." She's like, that's not New York.
Yeah.
All right, first of all, it's a big state. Secondly, I think people want to tell you that they're from New York so that you don't jump to any conclusions and assume that they might be from New Jersey.
Which
Right.
oftentimes they are.
Right, that's a big thing to clear up.
Yeah. Jersey's cool though.
The accent's kind of, you would say that. You're from Philly. You're the underarm of Pennsylvania.
No, that's Jersey. I mean, I'm glad I'm not from Jersey, but
Right.
But I think Jersey's cool.
Shout out to Jersey Joe.
JJ in the chat, as always. Oh man! All right. Before this turns into a geography lesson,
Yeah, you don't want.
I'm not gonna win. Let's outline a little bit of today's show. We got a few things on the docket. Couple updates. Kessler took a liking to our poll yesterday.
$4.
How about that Kessler going? I don't tap, but I kiss it.
What?
That
What do you mean? What
was
you
so
guys don't read my Twitter?
incredible.
What
happened?
Funny.
It's the best out of context quote I've seen in so long.
So someone tweeted at Kessler the video of people like kissing the slot machine as they play it.
I think the guy was using his nose to like tap the slot, but it looked like he was
It
kissing
looked like it.
Oh,
and
I
then
saw that,
And
yeah.
then they were like, Kessler, do you do this? And then he just says, like, out of context, it just says, I don't kiss, but I tap it. And so I did like the make it a quote thing. So it's like a picture of a quote that says like, I don't kiss, but I tap it.
It's so good, man.
He's like, very
amazing.
funny, Melissa.
It is very funny.
It's funny.
Oh man.
Gift that keeps on giving.
He really is. He truly is. I quote tweeted the poll yesterday, and I said something to the effect of like, how could it not be him Hendon mob shaming Graph Tackle? And he replied something to the effect of like, what? He didn't have a good I motivated him.
That's what it was.
And I go, yeah, that's it, Alan.
really believes
He
that.
was a real nobody before you get
Isn't that funny?
lit a
Like,
fire under his
he's
ass.
been around forever, and he's like breakout player nominated, and like
Kessler is?
no.
Oh, I was gonna say,
that would be
wait.
ridiculous. That would be ridiculous. No, Graph Tackle.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I
well,
guess maybe live.
when online and live collide, you know, it's like I think this happens pretty commonly.
Because to me, he's like kind of legend already.
Yeah, I mean, he's been playing high stakes online
So-
for 5, 6, maybe longer,
Longer, I think. I don't know. It seems like he's been around.
right? I think that kind of stuff happens often though, where online guys transition. You like I'm thinking like when Linus first moved into the live world. It
I
was
feel like everyone knew about Linus.
Yeah.
Or is it more sectioned like online fans and live fans?
well, I think when Linus moved to live, he went straight to Triton,
Right.
right? So the
But
crossover
everyone
there's
already knew him as a cast
right.
legend.
Yeah,
like, online.
but also like the crossover is a little bit cleaner there.
Okay.
If he had like transitioned into playing like WSOP World Series high rollers,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? I think it would have been a bigger deal of like, oh, this guy's,
Yeah, maybe.
you know, kind of the new young stud. Same thing with Baruzzi. Like when he jumped onto the scene live, that was the first a lot of people were hearing of him, but he kind of already been doing his thing live or online rather for a while, at least
Yeah.
as a content creator.
Yeah. That's fair.
I don't know. I just want fucking Kessler to talk shit on my Hendon mob. Actually, I think he did already.
I'm sure he did.
I think he compared it
How
to
can
Jonathan.
he? You have 4 million in earnings. Like,
Almost 5.
almost 5?
But
Wow.
how much
really?
did you lose?
Honestly, I'm
About 6.
no. I think my RI is pretty high
Yeah, it has to be.
because most of those scores are pre-high rollers.
Yeah, and your volume is low.
very low.
Yeah, that's true.
Like
Right.
a lot of those winnings are on like $1,500 buy-ins and shit.
The only big buy-in you ever played was the high roller, and you cashed your
Binked it.
like you 3 extra your money. On
I played it
right?
twice, but I'm still winning, so it's
yeah,
okay.
for sure.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You probably have a higher ROI in high rollers than most people.
Yeah, I've played a dozen. You know, it's like honestly,
Don't play anymore before you regress to the mean.
there's gonna be.
Apparently, sample size doesn't mean anything these days. So
Yeah.
I mean,
It's really, really wild. I understand because I come from the live side, and you know, this is an argument we've had like dawning all the way back to early 2000s. Remember, John Ford was a heads-up crusher or whatever.
Yeah.
He played a lot of hypers and stuff, and volume is key, yada yada. And I was just a live guy who was putting in 10 hours a day at 5'10", and I was just like, shut the fuck up. Who wants to play 20 tables? This is stupid. And I get it because like the brains, like the way that each player makes money is so very different. You know, it's such a
Yeah.
it's such a precision type of kind of dissecting your opponents one tiny little edge at a time. Whenever you're playing these online games, you're putting in mass volume and stuff. And live, it's like it's so like in the
Variable.
meta. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're just like you're just like raking somebody over the coals in a spot where like they're angry at their girlfriend and they're taking it out on you and blasting off the bottom of range. You kind of catch them in a spot where you feel it, you know, like you just knew it was going to happen type of thing. There's a lot of win rate there. So I understand there
is so much more meta, especially when most people are multi-tabling online.
Yeah.
So people are kind of just in bot mode.
It really just becomes like mechanical, you know, where it's all about like I have edges in these nodes.
I like that though. Like when you get into like flow of online, not that I play online anymore. I just get destroyed by bots. But.
Sure. Become the bot, Melissa.
Yeah.
I don't know how. I can't code. Oh man.
Learn to code.
Struggling out here. I was playing Win 2.5 like last year, and some guys just casually going, "Oh yeah, I bought on Ignition."
Oh yeah, I mean you don't.
Like, the heck? Like with stakes, so I don't play them. It's fucked up.
But yeah, so it's like I understand why the live guy doesn't really comprehend volume at all. Like not even just with regard to poker, but just like at all, right? But now I finally gotten to put in like a fair amount of volume against the same player pool, and I get it now. I just like I understand it so much more deeply than I think I did before.
You
like,
get the online thing more?
Well, I get, let's call it the in between. I understand the in between in the sense that when you just get to play endless hours with the same people, their weaknesses become like spotlights to you. You know, they just light up red, and you're just like, oh, I'm just gonna press on that until they do something to change.
True, yeah.
Right. And most people who are like putting in even mass volume in MTTs in like live events where they're playing hundreds of events a year, they play the same opponents so infrequently that just never really comes to
Unless
fruition.
It's like maybe the high rollers, but they're gonna have less egregious.
Right. Right. Yeah. And we almost quantify that subset as being online guys.
Yeah.
You know,
they're just doing it in the live realm.
Right. So it's like I totally understand this disregard for volume and like sample size and everything else, and it really makes the overreaction, I think, between the Landon J-Bex bet to me make a lot more sense. Not even in the sense that you know, people are choosing sides. Like, of course, that's naturally going to happen, but the way that the public, I don't know if it's necessarily the public money because I don't know what the side market looks like, but the way the public tone,
the side market's given
juice. Yeah, it's giving a little juice to us.
Well, as they should though. I mean, it's annoying because it's like, okay, all these people are looking for unlimited action at even. What does that mean? That means that we can ask for juice. Like people are like, oh, it's so ridiculous. Casters, oh, ridiculous. They're asking like, hello, are you like, you understand how this works?
I don't think he does actually, but
it's just supply and demand, is it not? Like, I mean, I don't know why it's so like mind-boggling. It's like not that I don't believe in Landon. I just think I can get a better price based on what people are wanting.
Of course,
right? Why would you not take that?
Yeah, it's like, oh no, I think he's a huge favorite, but you shouldn't be asking for why not.
Yeah.
Do you have a reason, or are you just
it's like
saying
you're at the store and something's on sale. Be like, no, I really like it. I'll pay full price.
I actually would rather have full price.
Yeah, you know what?
You know what? I'm gonna actually pay double rate.
Yeah.
So, is that okay?
So I think like the sentiment that, you know, basically the people who don't do things at high volume but generally like stick to the live realm and are accustomed to navigating the meta, basically investing in all the things that I previously spoke about that I actually do believe in. I understand why that large collection of people are just like Team Becker, like, let's go, I want to fire on this kid, he gets it, he's in the arena, yada yada yada. But what I find to be ironic is if we were able to run this trial, call it over 1,000 simulations, 10,000 simulations, do we think that the same people would be betting laying a price on Becker as opposed to Landon? Because at the end of the day, like if the answer is yes, then they just truly believe that he understands the game of No Limit Hold'em better than Landon.
I mean, at least from someone that I'm betting with, they said that if it was like a longer sample, they would bet Landon.
But why? But why? Like
I don't really get that.
Yeah,
logic,
it doesn't make any sense.
It just means you're
like
just guessing that one person will run better.
Right. Like you're saying someone is better in a lower sample size, like a more volatile.
People believe.
I guess, yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Which means that you're kind of just gambling.
People truly believe that when the sample is not significant, you can control some sort of mitigating factor.
Oh, like Like metaphysical?
Yeah, that swings things in your
that'd
favor.
That'd be like if you did run like 10,000, iterations of this, but you were like, oh, okay, we're gonna take 1/100th of a percent of that somewhere in that sample size, and then you get that, and then that's so you'd want Becker in that random sample size than anywhere else, which doesn't make any sense.
They're manifesting though.
I mean, you could manifest. If we're talking about manifestation, this is a whole nother conversation.
I still want to get some more action down, so let's not say too much. Like,
okay.
Well, that's
sorry. I thought your bags were filled. Not yet. Okay. Sorry.
That's what I find to be ironic about the whole thing is that I don't know that anyone thinks that in an ABI of 3K that Becker's ROI is going to be higher than Landon's, and that's what we're betting. That's strictly what we're betting. It doesn't matter what the sample is. It could be 1 of 1 or it could be 1 of 1,000.
Maybe they're betting that he'll quit?
No, because we don't even have, as far as I know, there isn't even like a clause for quitting. It's just a gentleman's agreement that everybody's going to play.
Right, 25. Yeah.
The required volume. So it's like, no, but I get it because I totally get what they're saying. Like, it's why I bet on fucking Dean eggs versus Doug.
That wasn't because you hate Doug.
It was partly because I hate Doug.
Some bias in that one.
It was partly because I hate Doug. It was partly because Dean eggs was a 4-to-1 dog.
Yeah,
so it's
it's hard to turn.
Yeah, it's like getting a nice price here is good,
heads up especially.
But I truly believe that he'll find these nooks and crannies to do some shit, like a ninja.
So that's what they're thinking. Well, I think, and also.
And
when you see like a lot of winners' photos and stuff, you're like, he must be doing there's something he knows that we don't, kind of thing.
I spoke to some really intelligent people, and even their first reaction was like, how does Becker perform versus idiots compared to Landon?
Right.
And I'm like, well, you guys were like, that doesn't matter. Like, that just doesn't matter unless you're saying that
it might matter a little bit.
I kind of want to take the other side on that.
I feel like it matters.
Yeah.
In the tournaments that they'll be playing.
But it doesn't.
Why?
Because they're first.
Obviously, the money's made late.
Right. The money is made late, which is most important. And secondly, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but
here we go.
The average player in WSOP events are much better than they were in years past. Like,
but for Landon,
I'm much closer.
Idiots.
Yes, but okay. Case in point.
No offense.
I am much closer to the average 2K WSOP entrant than Lamanna is.
Okay, a 2K, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the lowest you think is this too much information? What's the lowest buy-in you think you'll play?
I don't know yet. We have to look at the schedule. But it's not just WSOP.
The 300 Gladiator, obviously.
It's not just WSOP events, and those structures don't even call for.
Do you think you guys will play any mutual 25Ks?
Well, it's 10K. It's 10K and under at the moment.
Yeah.
But then anything higher than that would probably just be talked about as one-off events. Like if he's playing the 25K heads up, I'm sure we can get a
10K and under.
crossbook.
I guess there's no minimum. Not that would maybe matter.
No, it's just mutually played stuff.
Right.
But
but you're not going to play anything really small. Like, you're not going to go play the
I don't intend to.
The $200 tournament at
you're not going to play dailies.
I do not intend on playing the dailies unless they're the win 1K dailies where first
I
is 100.
wouldn't recommend playing the dailies because I think he's clearly got something going on with them.
Maybe fade the dailies.
Fade the dailies.
Yeah, that's sharp.
Fade the dailies.
Let's fire a lot of 10Ks. Skip the daily.
There are people in the chat saying JBEX's ROI is over 100% in 1500s. I'm sorry to break it to you guys. Nobody's ROI is over 100% in 1500s. They're just not. And if they are,
unless it's over a small sample.
Sure, of course. But if anybody's winning greater than 100% in 1500s, it's this small collection of people.
Maybe Darren Elias.
Yeah, it's a small collection of people who are just very fucking elite.
Yeah.
And probably not playing 1500s. Right,
once your ROI is 100% in 1500s, you don't play that. You move up.
Is Ike over 100% in 1500 events?
Probably.
Maybe.
Probably.
But we'll never know because he's never gonna fucking play them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Unless he gets a bet down. That bet down, maybe.
Nope. No, don't even think he would do it then.
Not.
It'd have to be a big bet.
Just a 600% crossbook.
Hard to go from
maybe
those cushy
6,000% crossbook.
small field high rollers where they feed you.
Yeah.
They, brush your hair and they like
Swag
feed
bags,
you
yeah.
grapes and stuff, and then you go and slum it in
They
the
stuff-
1500, the Millionaire Maker.
They stuff you into a little corner
They
in the room
shuffle
of
you around with
Paris.
your little bag. So fucking demoralizing. Oh, go walk through the smoke with your bag.
Honestly, one of the craziest things that I think happens during the summer is moving people from Paris to Horseshoe mid-event.
It's insane, is it not? Like
It's too far.
it's too far.
too
they
far.
don't make you close the bags. Like there's a whole lot of stuff going. Like that's
Yeah.
a little like
That doesn't bother me.
a little messy. I just
at all.
You're
Like,
right.
doesn't
It's
bother you?
messy.
It's messy, and it just
you
feel like
guys.
the
Is
process
anything
could be cleaned up a bit.
ridiculously awful going to happen? Probably not.
You know
but
what they
like, could
should
two
do?
people just combine one bag? Absolutely.
Yes.
I mean, there's people. There's
Or take
like
the big chips and do a little.
Oh, don't say
Yeah, I don't think-
there's it's fucking hundreds of people moving from
Yeah.
one
no, they don't.
It
They don't move
happens.
to the
hundreds.
other.
They don't move hundreds at once. They do it in
Yeah,
small
but
sections.
okay,
All
but
right.
it's hundreds
Well,
total.
dozens.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Move hundreds.
And it's
Right,
like,
it's-
and you're moving
Are you
through.
really gonna? I mean, people would. I mean, there are
Yes,
people out there,
they-
but like,
did you look
it's
on- did you
negative
see-
ROI for them to try to risk their
Well,
quarterback.
tell me
to do
this.
it.
No.
Tell me this.
No. Did you
if
see
Men
on
the
eBay?
Master, if Men the Master and 3 of his buddies are moving from Paris to Horseshoe, how do you feel about that?
It's
And they're all
very
linked
secure in a Ziploc
arms.
bag, bro.
It's not.
Okay.
And did you see on eBay they're selling the WSOP chips?
Are they?
Yeah, like they sell these on eBay, so people
God.
clearly are taking them from their bags.
It's funny to me, like the high markup that they
Oh,
sell.
I was gonna
for.
say
Wild.
I saw like
The 25Ks were like 2K or something.
Really?
Insane. Okay, we shouldn't say that because people are gonna actually start selling them.
I mean, they're losing money.
Well,
but
I
yeah.
saw like actual cash value chips, like a something you get in a cash game.
Yeah.
It'd be like a $25 chip for $50.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's convenience charge.
It's like,
You
wow.
don't want to walk your ass down to the Horseshoe to get it.
I feel like
Get
the
it and
cash
mail it to
ones
you.
are
Yeah.
usually marked down.
Really?
I don't know, maybe not, but I just remember seeing the tournament ones for WSOP, and they were
People like keepsakes.
Yeah.
because I was looking up how much the GG those like
coin?
main event coins.
Oh yeah.
They were
$200
there's one there.
pretty good.
$200.
Sell them for
Fuck!
$200.
I left mine at the table.
They're all
you
over the
would.
house. I was
You
like,
would.
Mama Joe, should we collect these and
Yeah,
sell them? Because
yeah.
there's like 5 of them laying around.
Oh,
the house.
definitely.
I have mine by my right on my dresser. I look
I have
at
mine
it
on
every
my dresser,
morning.
too.
If any of them are mine, you're welcome to it. I would
yeah.
prefer that
Let's
you
go,
make
Mama.
$200 on it than have it collect dust in my house any longer.
Selling that.
You
shit.
don't use it as a chip protector?
No.
Card protector?
No.
What
I,
if-
I hate knickknacks more than anything else
Oh
on
my
this
god.
planet.
You are such
Don't
a like
get me
old-minded-
started.
You are like
He's such a curmudgeon.
yeah, you
I'm
just
the opposite
you
of a
hate
curmudgeon.
fun.
What?
You hate fun is your
How
problem.
are you the opposite of a curmudgeon?
Because only old people would like knickknacks.
That's such a curmudgeonly thing to say.
No.
Only old people like knickknacks.
Who likes knickknacks? People who
I don't.
knit.
I mean, I don't like knickknacks.
Okay, but
It's hard for me to keep.
But why
track
does
of
it bother
stuff.
you?
Why is it angry?
they're messy. They're just
messy.
Did you have
because
a trauma with knickknacks?
Someone has a if I have a little tortoise, put it on my
different.
card.
That's not a knickknack.
What is it?
That's
That's
very
exactly
no.
what a
That is a
knickknack.
No,
That's
that-
exactly
that is-
what a knickknack
That
is.
is a very personal.
Took this little guy right here, right?
That's
and
a
I just set
knickknack.
him on my cards. Like that's bad.
That is a very personal.
Oh.
A very personal card
And most
protector.
knickknacks are. Most of them
Yes.
are like personal to
Justice
the
for
person
knickknacks.
for like
No.
yeah.
I'm generalizing
You ask
knickknacks.
every single person, and I bet the majority of them will have a story of why they have that.
Yeah, they don't just carry arbitrary
it's
items.
lucky for them for some reason.
You
or
guys
it's this and
aren't
that.
talking about the same thing I am.
What are you talking
I'm talking
about?
about when like companies gift you these shitty things like
Oh.
card protectors when you're deep in the main event or day 3 or whatever. the
No,
fuck
it was
is.
just if you registered.
Okay, whatever. If you register.
Like ACR would send like Venom socks.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. Like
these are all
like
knickknacks.
lanyards.
Yeah,
I don't think
lanyards.
those are. To
Wait,
me,
who's bringing their socks to the poker table?
Why are you equating knickknacks with things that show up at the poker table?
I don't know.
Who the fuck made that correlation?
You said things they give you.
I said I
Like
hate
socks.
knickknacks, like things scattered around my
know what
house
I would
that have
call
been
it
gifted for
knick-knack.
free.
I would call knickknacks.
I
think
thought
they
you
have a
meant
bit more
like at the poker
sentimental.
table.
I would call those card protectors.
Right, that's what I thought you were saying.
No, I know the word for card protector, Brian.
Right, I thought you were
It's
saying they're
card
little
protector.
knickknacks that
you put on your
they're
card.
used for protecting their cards.
Okay,
That's what I thought you were upset about.
I would
Multifaceted.
clearly
That's literally
specify that. I hate knickknacks, like
I don't-
all the clutter. laying around this office, the house.
But we were talking about card protectors.
We were specifically talking
I
about
don't understand. And you're like, I don't like those knickknacks. And I'm like, okay.
We were specifically talking about something that the World Series gave us. And I drew the conclusion of I hate knickknacks. I hate when people give like
I think
these
what you're
dumb
talking about is like
gifts.
just like random junk.
Yes.
But I think
That's what a
knick-knack
knick-knack
has
is.
a bit more of a sentimental tinge to it, maybe.
Maybe for you.
I think. Well, I don't.
I
I'm
feel
not
like you're
really-
like Rudy. You just have a room full of like rocks.
I have a lot of rocks in my room from Rudy.
They're
Yes.
crystals, okay?
Because one
Those
day,
are his
because one
knickknacks.
day he's gonna pass, and I'm gonna wish I kept his rocks.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, I'm gonna
No,
frame
if
them.
the end result of this is when Rudy dies, we have as many or more rocks in the house than we do right now.
I'm gonna make a sculpture of him out of his rocks.
What the fuck?
I don't believe you.
I
And then she's
going
going to gift it to you, Burke, as a
Yeah, and I'll
knickknack.
give it to you because you love Rudy so much.
I will honor that rock statue.
No, but I'll keep them because he will pass one day, and I'll say, "Oh, I remember these rocks."
Maybe you only need one.
I don't know.
I
what
have
that
like
means.
15.
It's a little much.
Sure.
Oh, my.
Oh man,
Rock collection.
fucking knickknacks.
Knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone.
Give a dog a rock.
Well, while we're on the topic of stupid things, the internet, the internet pointed us in the direction of just how incredible the IRS is with regards to the way that they tax us. Apparently, there is a little addendum in your IRS filings for taxes where if you have any illegal activities or stolen property, you actually have to price this out and include it in income earned. So if
if you steal property, you must report
it's fair market value.
Greg,
Is this real?
Yes, he put the link, the actual link to it, the IRS.gov link to this.
Greg is a shitpost
Look.
account.
So
He
the
is,
government
of
wants
course,
a cut of crime.
I think this is
Shocking.
maybe. I think they may had, like, I think their hand might have been forced based off of California's lack of enforcement of petty theft, where now they're like, all right, well, we got to recoup that money somehow.
Yeah.
So if you're out there stealing iPhones, I saw a video the other day of a guy who walked into a Apple store in San Francisco. No mask, nothing.
Just took the iPhone?
Walked through and took 40 iPhones, just ripping
Oh,
them out.
I saw that too. Yeah.
Happened in Summerlin too.
And then he walks
It
out,
did.
and there's a cop car like parked on the side, like on the sidewalk, right past the cop car, gets in his car and drives away.
I don't understand it.
It's very odd.
I don't have much of an opinion on it, to be honest.
It's rather annoying.
It's rather odd that used to be a crime and is no longer.
Yeah, I guess like I don't have that much opinion on it because I feel like the whole system's so broken from top to top bottom, right? Like,
Yeah, it's might as well do whatever you want.
well, I guess what I'm getting at is like clearly these stores
Should
are
have dropped a few
insured.
Vision Pros while he was at it.
Like clearly these stores are insured, and so then they just run the insurance claim. They always get made whole, and then that probably just drives up the consumer product in that area, which means it
Right.
becomes more
It's a
expensive to
big
buy this shit,
Ponzi.
and it just becomes this big like circular Ponzi where
Yeah.
everybody the same guy who stole the iPhone ultimately ends up being the same guy who gets fucked when it's all said and done. I just find it interesting that businesses still choose to operate there because like you would think that this would harm your bottom line in the near term enough
Well,
that maybe you just don't want to have a
There's
store
a lot of
there.
money in California.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that want to buy Vision Pros in like Silicon Valley and tech
not when
nerds.
there's a black market selling them hot for half off.
I was
Yeah,
at
but
the
you think some nerdy
Yeah.
guy from Stanford is like going to the black market for a Vision Pro?
Give it time.
I was at the Apple store this weekend, and I walked out. I was like, "Can I I just wanted to try the Vision Pro." She's like, "Oh, you have to make an appointment. It's a 30-minute experience." I'm like, "I just want to put it on and see
Yeah.
what it looks like. That's
No.
all I
Just put it
wanted.
on.
Like, I
No.
don't need the whole 30-minute."
They're gonna walk you from
You're gonna
corner
try
to
to
corner.
Yeah, trying to sell you it.
Is
Obviously,
this the Vision Pro?
Yeah, that's the Vision. Basically, this is what the Vision Pro is going to be like.
It looks so
Probably in like
stupid.
5 years.
Yeah, that was the 2003 Vision
See,
Pro.
and yeah, but this is what it's going to boil down
Those
to
are
eventually.
so like Jersey Shore.
These are
Snooki glasses.
Yeah, I thought
Well,
it was
he
so
got tired
cool.
of telling people that he was Italian, so he just decided to wear those glasses instead.
Yeah, just get me some Versace's and a tan, some laundry, a gym.
GTO.
Yeah, go.
Good to see you in the gym, buddy.
Nice.
We already mentioned this,
By
but
gym, you mean my living room.
yes,
Tony Horton on the screen.
Yeah, you and Tony
Hey,
battling.
got those Bowflex
The boys.
weights, dumbbells.
You know.
Just getting jacked.
Yeah, they go up to 50 pounds.
You took it
Just-
personally
Oh,
when
we
you said
know.
he'd look good if he was in shape.
No, I said he would look.
She did?
I said he would be hot if he did TRT. I think. I just think he has potential. I think that's a compliment.
Yeah, it is
Juice
a
up,
compliment.
turtle. Juice
Yeah.
up.
You're just saying,
and
just
wait,
get
and
jacked
you should
up.
do it because like Berkey would get so jealous. It would
He
be
would.
hilarious.
He would.
Yeah,
if I
I'd be
became bigger than
super
You
Berkey.
would if Tortoise was all like
If he
teed
became-
up and you weren't.
I would be so happy for him.
Nah, you'd be
All
like,
I want
you'd
is
be like,
someone to go to
"Whoa,
the gym
why is
with."
he hot? Like this is fucked up.
No, Brian's gonna shave his head too. Then he's like the balder,
Yeah.
stronger version.
But he'll all have a beard,
Yeah.
I'd have to wear these. I'd have to wear these glasses at all times.
The beard would come in sick.
right?
Yeah,
Oh.
if he got on TRT, the beard would come in sick.
I
Man.
don't know. I think
sure.
it's time.
He just got his blood work done.
I would like to
Do you-
see it.
What do you think his testosterone is, over or under 325?
Well, 325,
That's
525.
insulting.
Sorry, 525.
Christ,
My
if it's
apologies.
under 325, I'm
Then
getting
you're
on
getting on
TRT. Yeah.
5,000.
What's yours?
Currently this I think the last time I tested was
To
like
this day.
650.
To this day.
Okay, I think under.
Yeah.
I thought under 2.
Well, I think under 2. If yours is 650, then
Andres is like 1,000.
yeah. Well,
Andres
that's
is
I know.
ridiculous.
Andre's ridiculous.
Andres fertile.
okay,
Like,
so
I think if I was at 500, I'd be happy.
yeah, that's fine. So follow-up question. What number would you set at the point where he should be concerned?
Concerned.
Like to actively want to raise it.
Well, I think that's different because if I was a guy, I feel like I'd be on it already at this age. Like I don't know. I think if I was a guy, I would not shy away from the enhancements.
Right. It's kind of like
So
Botox for women.
Yeah, but I haven't gotten Botox, so it's maybe different.
Yeah, but I don't think
the
I would
TRT
ever do
just seems
Botox
like
either.
such a cheat code for guys. Like you see these guys go on it and they're just like
Yeah, but
hot all of a sudden.
yeah, but
It's weird. You know?
no, I don't.
You're just attracted to cavemen. There's a difference.
Yeah, maybe. I like. Oh, you can tell when a guy has high T.
Point is, I'm
good
what
shit.
we're trying to get at is
It's good
if
shit,
you
she
had, I don't even know why I'm asking. It doesn't really matter. But if you to spitball what you thought was like the average for his age, where do you think it would be?
How old are you? 41? 40?
41 for Tortoise.
42.
42, sorry.
Berkey and I are both 42.
Maybe 450.
Okay, good. We're in the same boat. I said if it's anywhere under 350, you should be panicked.
Well,
And
yeah, that's low, right?
And Guapo goes, I think that's like completely average.
And it ended up being true.
Really? That's average?
I mean,
If you look up average for
Yeah.
a 42-year-old male in
So-
the United States, average is around 350.
but also if you look at
But
an average 42,
male,
yeah,
there's
exactly.
a lot
They're
of,
not very healthy.
Yeah, I mean, because your T goes down as you get overweight, and a lot of overweight Americans. So
The majority
I think that's
of
a little
the
skewed.
majority of Americans are overweight. I
Right.
think, right?
and
And
sedentary.
the majority of Americans do not like go to the gym.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, they don't
because
work out
it's
with
like
Tony.
Yeah.
you
They
get
don't work
your
out with
natural
Tony.
testosterone from
Yeah.
T activities.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, at this age, it starts to
I can
dip,
when
but
I
yeah.
work out, I can like after like a week of working out, I can feel the testosterone
Really?
coursing
Right.
through my
Me
body.
too, actually.
I literally can.
Me too. No, I get feral. Like working out makes
Jesus.
me like feral. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip something apart.
It's kind
Yeah,
of
I'm like
crazy.
something's different.
You know, it's kind of crazy that you could do something for so many years of your life and then just like miss out on a complete phase. So I've been working out since I was 14, 13 maybe. And I've been going to public gyms probably since around that time. I think Lamanna and I were like 8th or 9th grade when we first went to our first public gym. And that was just the culture for me for 30 years, 25 years, something like that. But in my mid 30s, I started going to a private gym. And I haven't been to a public gym much since.
So public gym would be like Planet Fitness type thing, or
Yeah, or
24-hour fitness.
yeah,
you know.
anything along those lines.
and private gym is like with classes or
I would say private gym would be trainer.
okay.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy that I completely missed out on this fucking Zoomer wave where
steroids.
No, well, that too, but
Zoomers love steroids. It's
They
crazy.
do.
They like everyone's meme.
they hate sex and they love steroids.
Dude,
It's the craziest.
Zoomers are
You
crazy.
think one
the
would,
Zoomers
one would
okay,
make the other
because
one happen?
The Zoomer memes are actually like it's all about fentanyl, steroids, and like anime. And I'm like, what is going on with this generation? Like,
Hey man,
it's not that.
don't panel to me.
I mean, that's 1/3 of you.
It's not
Figure out which
that
one third.
far removed from the mopey emo phase.
millennials
millennials.
were the emo gen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know why though?
No,
So like each generation is separated by where their Pluto is.
I don't care.
Here we
I
go.
can't believe you looked at me with dead seriousness in your eyes.
No, because it's
you know why.
look it up because you actually might be interested.
Look it up. Fuck you.
You might be interested in it. It's actually quite
yeah,
interesting.
it's fascinating. I'm
yeah,
sure.
because if you look at history, and ours was Pluto and Scorpio
Is Pluto a
generation.
planet?
Right, yeah.
Yes.
It got
Well, in
re-upgraded too.
astrology, it is. Yes.
That,
But the
been a lot of
Zoomers are
debate
Pluto
lately.
and Sagittarius, which is much more like adventurous and
Right.
kind of
Sure. Anyway,
expansive.
what I was getting at is
Fentanyl.
apparently over the last 5 to 10 years, this wave of just filming yourself in the gym
Mm-hmm.
has
Yeah,
like
right.
really taken over. And I had no idea. Like
Influencers.
Melissa's like, yeah, guys just work out shirtless in my gym. They're all flexing and filming. There's a
Well, my
there's a
gym is-
posing room.
Yeah. There a lot of gyms here. Well, because there's such big bodybuilding culture in Vegas. So there's so much like
Yeah.
posing rooms, and they have posing coaches for their bodybuilding and stuff. But yeah, they're always.
That's all very
filming.
strange to me in a public gym. That makes sense to me in a private gym or a gym that's
I mean,
like
my gym's kind of private. I pay.
What?
I have a key.
you don't pay enough for it to
I
be
have
private.
a-
That's the thing.
paying.
I
Right.
scan in.
Paying is a part of any gym.
It's pretty
Right.
private.
Lock
But
in.
it doesn't become private till you reach a certain price point.
Right. Well, even then, like I wouldn't consider what's the gym in
Would you consider
Summerlin?
Equinox a private gym?
Oh,
No.
Lifetime.
Lifetime. Yeah, I wouldn't consider Lifetime a private gym.
But it's very
I really
expensive.
want
$250 a month.
I really want a lifetime membership.
Lifetime got it
I
all.
need Jeno to hook me up.
Yeah, it really is. It really has it all. You do anything except for snowboard there.
Yeah, I mean, my gym is also a lot of like bodybuilding influencers, so that's like their vocation is like filming themselves, and
Right. Yeah, and it's like
they have tripods that you can borrow at the gym.
that's
amazing.
wild to
Like
me.
in the posing room,
And, like,
there's like 4 tripods.
Don't get me
to
wrong.
borrow.
Like this was Gold's gym for our generation and the generations prior, but it was only Gold's gym.
Right.
And like, you know, I follow like Joey Swoles and a bunch of other, fun accounts that kind of name and shame the people that are doing this. And it seems like it's not like relegated to a specific bro-y type of gym. It's any gym, like 24-hour fitness, EOS.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Like there's just going to be a dude
Yeah,
or
but
a girl there.
this is the Instagram world we live
Right.
in, right? So it's like people are posting on Instagram. That's just what you do. You just scroll through your feed
Film
and you just
everything.
see all that. So it's just like, where do they all come from? Well, there you go.
Well, yeah, because what they're doing is called mogging.
What's
Oh,
that mean?
what's mogging?
It's when you like actively look like you're physically more intimidating than somebody else. So like back when Z's like the first fitness influencer of like the Myron bra, like that guy,
Don't know who that is.
What are these
You're-
words?
you're just saying
Just
words.
like literally
Yeah,
saying
really
a
just
different
basically like
language.
flexing in the gym.
First
like,
of all, the first the first fitness influencer was Dom Mazzetti, and don't you
Yeah,
forget
that's
it.
Sure.
true.
Okay.
Z's kind of started the whole like teens getting in the gym, like aesthetic physique
Okay.
over the
I
like.
thought it was C-bum, no?
Well, C-bum is after. Z's passed away like years ago from sauna, like heart attack, like had some shit going on.
Steroids.
But anyways,
Yeah,
like
steroids.
partly that too. But part of it was like the movement that like bodybuilding not like was cool, but like you could be young and start doing it, and you can
Okay.
get into the gym as like a high schooler and find like sense of self within
and he
weights.
started mogging.
Well, he started the like looking at yourself in the gym, like flexing, like
'Cause I've
getting a
been
sick
seeing
pump.
this mogging thing. I
But
don't know. what
mogging
it is.
isn't Z's related. Like mogging is like new generation related, like the fitness influencers.
So
like
what's it mean? You flexing?
it's basically like when you like try to physically intimidate and overpower
What's
someone.
that mean? You
You just do
stand
it.
up straight or? Not.
Man.
It's basically like you try to like you see someone in the gym, like you kind of
Square
intimidate
up,
them.
or-
You kind of look like you want to do something,
that's
like you try to
interesting.
scare them, like
You just
intimidate
walk
them.
around in the gym like
This
this.
makes me so
Or like if
sad.
you're
Like a puffer
pumping and
fish.
like you're kind of like looking like you're like jacked and intimidating. It's just called mogging. So it's like, oh, like you mogging in the gym, bro.
So
This-
it's like you're
You
flexing,
flexing,
on them.
yeah.
Okay.
On just the proverbial
Right, flexing
people.
wasn't good enough. They had to come up with a different word.
Right.
Mogging.
Right. This makes me so sad for your generation, Landon.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like to me,
Is that
this
it?
is fucking great,
Yeah.
by the way.
Like
he,
That's
He-
mogging.
it's part of it.
he basically said if he finds any,
Dude, his arm is nuts.
it's insane.
It's
tweeted-
kind of silly, right? They get a thing called like bigorexia. There's a documentary.
Yeah, of
about
course.
it
For sure.
course.
Yeah.
Where
There-
they just
there's that big thing in the Brazilian culture where they inject oil in their muscles.
Right,
Right.
the
It just
synthol.
it looks so
That's
weird.
so nasty.
Yeah.
But he tweeted that if he sees anybody filming in his gym, he just has the right to now be a part of their flexing video, which I think is funny.
That is funny.
But no, it makes me sad because I guess like at its core, to me, and again, this is a me thing. I'm not trying to project this out onto everybody, but like from my perspective, as the old man shaking his fist at the clouds, the gym just like it represents this like disciplined kind of value where it's not about the aesthetics. Like, yeah, that's a nice after aside, but it's about doing hard things and challenging yourself in a way that like you can't necessarily get out of everyday life. And it's now being like gamified into this social media like
Who
system.
can look sexiest online?
Yeah, exactly.
But
It's like-
that's mogging. It's like when
I
you
know, I
take
get
pictures,
it.
you take pictures with other people, and like you either like pronounce your jawline, or like you're taller than them, or like you look more intimidating. Like
Yeah.
there's different kinds of mogging. There's height mogging, jaw mogging, chin mogging, hair mogging.
like this is low key just bullying.
It's
like bully
a bit
behavior.
gay, isn't
It's-
it?
Age
Yeah,
mogging. Well,
yeah.
fogging is female mogging. So like you start taking pictures with the girls, but like one girl tries to look better than everybody else.
Okay, so mogging's kind of a bad thing. Then.
It's just not a bad thing. It's just like
Look at all
someone,
this.
It's
someone that
Skull
you know.
just a
mogging?
thing.
Just a
Skull
thing.
pleasing, a more aesthetically pleasing skull.
Yeah, when you got the really
Voice mogging.
when you
Hair
got the really
mogging is
pronounced
good.
brow.
You do hair mog on Berkey?
I don't know because we don't really take pictures much. I don't take pictures with him because he's balding.
Right, sure.
It's bad for your clout.
Is that balging?
It's
Mogging.
it's hair mogging.
hair mogging?
He's
I find this all to
molding.
be so fascinating.
Well, I think it's
Balding.
just a side effect of like the younger generation growing up with like social media.
I love how there's a quiz on this site, like to the right of it, the "Am I gay?" quiz.
Yeah, that's a good quiz to be on that site.
Why can't I sleep quiz?
It's just interesting to me to see the way that the social standards have shifted when it comes to aesthetics, right? Like obviously aesthetics have always been a very important part of culture, but like when we were growing up, it was the stick figure models on the cover of Vogue, and it was the athletes, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
And now
yeah,
thi-
when
now
you
think-
look at Arnold's generation of bodybuilding, it's a
Right.
lot more natural looking than today.
well, yeah,
Not-
I mean, yes,
quote
yes.
unquote natural.
No, you're
compared
right.
to
Like if you compare like
the
Arnold,
monsters of
if you
today.
compare Arnold when he won Mr. Olympia to like Jay Cutler,
yeah,
Jay Cutler is
or like Nick Walker.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
He goes to my gym and he's
Jake Cutler,
like
the
insane
quarterback.
looking. He's
Jake.
the mutant.
Jake Cutler.
No, they're both.
That's like Jake.
Yeah. No, they're both Jay. Jay Cutler is a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
They're both Jay.
No, Jake Cutler was JAKE was the quarterback. No,
It was
No,
Jay.
Jay.
Jake Cutler.
they definitely do not have the same name.
They
One of
don't.
them.
Jake Cutler is 100%.
Book it.
Okay, then Jake is the bodybuilder, but
Okay.
or
I
or
think they're both
Jake
Jay.
Cutler is the quarterback.
I'm pretty sure they're
Play
both
for the
named Jay
Bears.
Cutler, guys.
Yeah, they
think
are.
they
If you
are.
go to my screen here, Guapo, it's so look at those first two people. It's Jay Cutler the quarterback and Jay Cutler the bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you have to say for yourself?
well, all you showed was two pictures. Just
Oh my God,
Oh my God,
Berkey,
it's
just take the
insane.
L.
Just click it.
It's
Take the L,
insane.
bro.
Just
Yeah,
take
but
the
they have the
fucking
same
L.
name.
just click it.
It's Jay Cutler bodybuilder up at the top, right there, and then right here it says Jay Cutler American football quarterback.
Okay, so they're both Jay Cutler.
Yeah. There you go.
That's right.
That's right.
It is funny though to think like how we grew up and like like you said, we're on the magazines and now it's like the social media stuff, and then like the kids that are like born today, it's gonna be AI, right? Because AI just generates essentially the perfect person, right? So it's
Kind of
like
scary, actually.
how you're never like you think you can't like live up to the Instagram
That
model.
means everyone's gonna get fat.
Everyone's
now
gonna start
right.
avatar mogging.
yeah,
Right?
avatar
Because
model.
like
Not
they
avatar
use
mogging.
Lensa AI, but not you, the
Well,
Zoomers, like
that's-
the newer Zoomers.
I will resist that as long as I can.
That's kind of the interesting thing though with like the way that things transitioned with bodybuilding is that it did go into a very unnatural phase.
Yeah.
Right? Like
It's who can look the most freakish now.
yeah. Like when you look at the people that are just like I mean, Liver King isn't the most extreme example. I actually think that
He's
like
not, no.
clearly not, because somehow he had people duped into believing that he was natty. which is obviously crazy.
It's kind of actually a bit lame that he was on so much gear and he was like not bigger.
He's a small,
bigger.
He's a small man.
He's
Yeah.
like 5'6".
Yeah.
5'6", 5'8".
You can
at
literally
most.
grab a
short
handful
guys get
of his
jacked
abs.
like instantly.
You wanted to grab
His
one
abs
ab.
were mainly in his enlarged guts.
Really?
Well, he was on.
How are they so
Maybe
defined? They're so defined, though.
There's a lot of rumors that he might have gotten implants. It's
Yeah.
very likely that he has bubble gut. I mean, he was on an inhumane amount of HGH.
Yeah.
Whenever he came clean with his protocol or whatever, but yeah, like this is a good example.
He goes to
my
my gym,
God.
Nick Walker.
Does he really?
He's really nice, but yeah, he's the mutant. That's
right,
his
like
name.
yeah, and it's a reasonable name. Like,
Does he look like that in real
Yeah,
real life?
yeah, he does. He's like extremely wide.
it's just crazy.
How does he get through the door?
It's just crazy to put on
know.
that much mass and still retain almost no body fat.
And the varicose, like they get varicose veins,
Right.
Like the chunky veins.
Yeah.
At what point does it become not healthy again? Right? Because I feel like that's
the things that it takes to get that level of mass
is very unhealthy.
It's going like their
Yeah.
lifespans are getting
Right.
cut by 10 or 20%.
They have to be.
Yeah.
Right. It's like you go to the gym to get healthy, but then you go so much and you go overboard that you're back to being unhealthy again.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of why I said
the dysmorphia and stuff.
Yeah, that's kind of why I said it saddens me that the emphasis is like so heavily on aesthetics,
Yeah.
right? Because like for us, I mean, you know, granted, I grew up in a very small town, and like you just don't look at the cover of magazines and think that you belong or anything like that. But we walked into this dusty little basement with this 5'6" tall hick with a mullet, prancing around in army pants with
was
his hands
jacked,
behind his, jacked out of his gourd. And we're just like, who is this guy? And it, you know, he's like a green beret, black belt.
It's kind of like the place we went to in Tahoe.
Yeah, actually.
Garage.
Yes, actually, only way more jacked than that guy. That guy was just kind of like old man strength. Like he
Yeah.
looked like he baled hay.
So many guys in Tahoe work out in jeans.
Yeah.
That's how you know they're strong.
Probably
no,
in
they
Iowa,
weren't strong. They were
too.
doing random weird stuff like
Oh.
swinging the lap pull down around. I don't know what it was weird.
Yeah. Working out in jeans is a clear indicator of true like gritty strength.
They got cowboy boots on?
Wow, it's
No, they would
snowy
just
up
have like
there.
sneakers and
Yeah, come
jeans
on.
and like a t-shirt.
You're either really strong or you don't know what's going on.
That's right. No one works out in jeans that can't immediately deadlift 500 pounds.
You're either left curve, right
Yeah.
curve. Instant.
if you're right curve, it's clear. You're just like, oh, that's Timmy.
Yeah, well, like,
Don't mind him. He's
nowadays,
special.
like literally, like there's like a site called Rascal for like gym apparel, and they made jorts. Like
That's
jean
crazy.
short gym shorts.
That sounds like something my nephew would wear. He's
Sounds like
all
something Landon would
he's
wear.
all up on those fucking trends that I hate.
The
Like,
hoochie daddy shorts.
yeah.
The hoochie. I see them. It's the hoochie guys.
My nephew has like
Weird.
My nephew has like no joke. He has like 33-inch thighs, and his calves are just about as thick as his thighs
I
are.
think that's who's supposed to wear the hoochie shorts because
I don't
they're
know,
supposed to
man.
be like tight. I mean, I don't prefer that at all, but I think that's how they're supposed to look.
He's like wearing chino shorts, and they look like boxers.
But I guess
it's
the
very
young,
unsettling.
Landon says the young girls like it.
Good for them, I guess.
I think I missed that cutoff of liking the.
That's what I'm saying.
of
Like,
liking to view the upper thigh of
again,
we're
men.
being
Guapo.
displaced. It's
Like,
happening.
this
It's
is-
happening right before our eyes,
Like
Melissa.
this is an ambassador for Rascal apparel with the gym jorts. Guapo, go to the picture. That guy, bang.
Well, those are pretty long for your standards.
Yeah, that's true.
But like, look at those fucking thighs.
Yeah,
Jesus.
Right, but
not a
that's-
very
I
fair
think-
comparison. The people that are going to wear those jorts are not going to look like that.
No.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be very unsettling.
But maybe they can if they start wearing them and get
Yes,
the,
that's
the
what it
gym
takes.
strength, you know?
Correct. That's.
I know what I'm
exactly
wearing
it
to the GPIs.
takes. Perfect.
Hoochie daddy shorts.
I'm happy
you
to
should
hear
wear
that,
a
Guapo.
hoochie daddy like suit.
Okay.
Get some pants
Hoochie
tailored
daddy
like really
suit.
short.
Have we
with
decided?
a coat.
Have we decided that Guapo's giving the speech if we win?
Why do you guys keep pushing this?
I
I don't know.
I
I
think
haven't.
you-
It's the first time hearing.
I think he'd give a great speech.
Yeah, exactly. I think you are the guy for the job.
He would 100% GPI or
ChatGPT.
He would be like,
GPT.
"Oh, and
Chat-
Robbie's
actually, yeah.
innocent." Like he would start to say, he would go off the rails and like start saying weird
I'd
stuff.
start talking about donkey
Oh,
punches.
like yeah.
No, I could definitely see him like giving a very heartfelt 3-minute speech, and at the end, just like thinking this was his time
Like,
to really live
love
the
you,
moment.
Robbie.
Where he just raises his fist. He's like, Robbie J. Lou's innocent.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He's like gonna do
100%.
that.
Yeah,
And she
100%.
would be there.
And she'd be
She'd
like,
probably wink at
"Oh."
you.
He
And
just pulls his sign out from
Yeah.
behind
Like
him.
a rose,
Give you a
he
thumbs
deli-
up.
Give the money back, Gary.
That's actually our acceptance speech.
Oh,
We're all
man.
like, "Whoa, we're we don't
We got
we
ambushed.
don't sign this. I don't know what happened."
Come on, Guapo, you got to do
Well,
it.
it's a little presumptuous. We don't know that we're gonna win.
Oh, I
I
think,
know, right?
I think we're an
That's-
underdog.
it's if we win.
I think we're an underdog.
To
Yeah.
who?
I think that, well, personally, I think that Andrew Brokos' podcast deserves the Thinking
Yeah.
Poker.
I agree.
But we're also against 2 other podcasts that have already won it once each as well.
Mhm.
And my instinct is that it's more like, because I think it goes to a panel vote after the finalists are solidified.
Mm-hmm.
And my instinct is
Yeah,
that
it does.
panels will be swayed based off of back-to-back versus like making something cyclical.
I don't know. Hasn't Jamie won the Twitter thing like 16 years in a row or something?
I think she won it the first 2 years, but to be fair, I think the first 2 years, like, she had zero competition.
Okay.
Where like I don't know what the podcast space looks like. Like I'm sure Poker in the Ears and Chip Race both have a huge following. I mean, I listen to Chip Race, so it's like I know about that. I listen to Thinking Poker, but it's weird because I listen to Thinking Poker religiously, only to come to find out that like almost nobody in the community knows about it.
Yeah.
They need to.
I think this is
They
the
need-
first time.
They need
Yeah.
some viral marketing.
I think this is actually the first time they even made the finals. They're on the list every year, but every year it seems to be a snub. So my hopes are that if we lose to anybody, it's to Brokos. But yeah, I don't know. Do you think we're a favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just nice to be nominated,
I'll
you
be
know?
pissed off if we don't win.
All right, good. I like
All
that.
right, yeah.
I like that.
Angry poo.
But I'm not. I don't want to jinx it and be presumptuous, you know. But I'll be pissed if we don't win.
That's right.
Who are you gonna take it up with?
Might throw some poo.
The whole
Someone.
room. I'm gonna say, hey, what the fuck?
Oh man.
Would you ever Kanye the winners?
Yeah, I'll go up and be like, listen,
I'm gonna let you
I'm gonna let
finish.
you finish, but
hey, you know,
Poor Taylor.
good job, but like, no.
poor Taylor.
Stars.
Is there any chance that wasn't the exact moment that her claim to fame began?
I mean,
Like her
that
rise
helped.
to stardom had to come.
I made that bitch
Poor
famous.
Taylor. I mean, come on, poor Taylor. She's a billionaire. She's
Yeah,
fucking.
I'm poor
taking-
Taylor.
she's,
I'm
taking-
Rich Taylor.
she's taking
I'm
her
obviously
private jet to go
joking.
to 7-Eleven.
Okay, listen. Yeah, listen. She's.
I love those memes of
she's doing
the
all
Taylor
right.
Swift memes. It's like Taylor going from one end of the room to the other, and it's just like a private jet.
Oh man, this whole show is in the muck. I think it's
know.
time. I think it's time
I'm,
we
like,
shift
so
a little bit of
ADHD, so I
poker.
got like 3 hours of sleep.
Let's get in the muck.
Cutting my shot. Okay. Well, all right.
You know the hand history.
Yeah, I don't. He has it. He
Well,
has
you want
the,
him to do all the work?
Well, I want him to
Fuck.
put the
That was
you know,
smooth, you
hand
guys.
up on the
smooth,
screen.
smooth transition there.
Thanks.
Real good job.
I wasn't
really gonna-
expecting it.
Glad we worked this
Yeah.
out pre-production.
Great job.
We got the hand in there, Guap. There it is. Okay. It's a submission from, I think, Hat Trick is the name of the Discord account. And he said, did I Rhino 5000 this hand?
Based.
What does that mean?
I don't know
Only
what that
Landon
means.
knows.
I don't know.
idea.
Like, no, I assume it means did I like really butcher it?
Is that
if you-
somebody's
obviously.
username?
If you really fuck up a hand, like you go to the gas station to get a dick pill, you know, it's like you really fucked up. It's
You
Rhino
Rhino
5000.
5000
You
is a
explained
dick
this
pill?
to me on the pod the other day, and still in my head, Rhino 5000 was that like bed liner spray that you can get for your
Oh,
truck.
Yeah,
I know
that's
what you're
what I
talking
was
about.
thinking.
Yeah,
Something.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Like if you brutally fuck it, you
Wait,
Rhino
wait.
5000.
I thought those were
Right.
called extends.
There's a lot of them.
There's a lot of them.
Okay.
But Rhino
Okay.
5000 that's what we're going with.
It's a dick pill.
I am not putting
Okay.
a Rhino 5000 in my body. I'm
Alright.
just saying.
He said he was shocked at the villain's hand at Showdown, and he said he loves the pod. Long time listener and sub.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Was hoping video form would be easier, and he said he's hopefully Landon is in for this one, and Landon is in for this one. So okay, so he's here. He's playing at.
Oh, by the way, shout out
Texas.
to pokerbankroll.com. pokerbankrolltracker.net. I use this.
Do you?
Oh,
Yeah,
it's the best.
great.
Yeah, it's
It
really
really
great.
is. They should
Yeah.
sponsor us because I actually really love the product.
Me too. And they're super open to feedback. I think it was a year and a half ago. I was like, hey, I want to see what my true results are because you can
Right, with
put
the
that you sell
staking
action and stuff.
Yeah, it's so good.
And it was segregated. And they're like, oh, we'll take care of it. And within like a week, there was just a toggle where you could have like your true results and then your results after selling.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, one day I tried all
is.
of them, and like that was the best one by far.
Yeah, man, this is nice free ad time. For
I know.
Poker.
Right.
So this is a
Well,
little
yeah.
taste of what you can get if
Yeah.
you sponsor us.
Right.
We love your
we'll
product.
really go for you if you
But
sponsor
actually
us.
do. Like I wouldn't mind advertising them.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so Hat-Trick's here at he's down in Texas playing 1-3.
Okay.
He got the straddle on. Looks
Sure,
like they're
of course they
about 900 effective.
All right.
He's got 2 queens. He's got a queen of clubs and the queen of hearts. So
Okay.
he's under the gun. He opens the 20. Low jack folds. Villain is in the cutoff, calls, and then the button calls as well, and folds around. So the flop comes queen,
Hello.
4, 3,
Nice.
all
Okay.
diamonds,
All right.
monotone, all
Yeah.
That's all
diamonds,
right. We
right?
always
So he's
throw
got
it up here.
got top set. He decides to lead out for about quarter pot,
Yep.
25,
What they do in Texas.
right? Villain calls,
Okay.
button folds.
It has him
Villain
clicking.
looks like he
Oh, I'm
raises.
sorry. I'm
Oh.
sorry. Villain did raise. Villain clicked.
Interesting.
Yeah. So he bets quarter pot and Villain just clicks it to
Oh,
50.
click it. All right.
Yep.
I like it.
And okay, so
I
he
like it
decides
when we have queens.
right.
Yeah,
So he
right.
decides to just call,
Okay.
and the turn is the an offsuit ace. He checks, I believe, and Villain
Okay.
leads small again,
Interesting.
quarter.
Oh yeah.
The Villain leads quarter, which is
What the
strange.
fuck?
Rhino 5000.
He calls, and then the river is now an offsuit 8, and this is where the hand gets a little
gonna jam?
little strange.
Now it
He
gets
checks.
strange.
It gets it does kind of gets a little strange.
Okay.
So he checks. Villain bets, bets
Oh my
50
God, he
again,
same bet him.
which is literally he same bet him. So it's he bets 50 into 300.
So he
20.
old man geo-sized.
This
Right.
is
Where he
so
same bet him
weird.
3
right.
times.
So he's sitting there with top set. He's probably thinking like, well, I need to get value for my more
Yeah.
value for my hand.
Yeah,
so
I
he
like that
raises.
idea. Yeah.
But he raises kind of
Too
And then he
small.
jam- and then just
Way too
jam.
small.
So he goes. Villain makes it 50. He check raises to 160.
Okay.
Right. So very very small. And Villain calls and shows
A flush.
pocket aces.
Oh wow.
With the ace of diamonds.
Oh, wow.
So he turned top set and had the flush draw
Well,
to go
we
with it,
got
but
away
it never
with murder.
materialized.
Yeah.
So yeah,
we
this was
should
a
have gotten
very
stacked here.
very strange, very
That's
strange
kinda wild.
hand. It was like very two really big hands that weren't putting a lot of money in the pot.
Okay, let's discuss what makes this an in the muck submission before we go to the sim, because honestly, I can see the smoke already coming out of Landon's computer.
Looks like a hand you'll see in the dailies.
I'm not sure that we're gonna see much. We're not gonna have a lot to glean from the solve here. It's just gonna say
Yeah.
you both fucked up.
This
Remember
isn't-
when I
it's just
said,
a hand that doesn't like happen regularly.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
said-
like I don't know.
well, I said I didn't bring my computer today, and then I saw the hand. I'm like, you know what?
You're not gonna.
Well,
do it, no.
there will be some things that we can glean from the solve in the sense of like how he should be approaching a monotone board with top
Right.
set.
Right, and I think that's
how
very important.
the response should take place. But in this particular instance, I think what really qualifies this as being muck driven is kind of the notion that when facing these obscure raises, treating them for what they are, right? So you got clicked on the flop. Well, what's the difference between getting clicked on and getting like 3x'd, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine if you're holding top set, there's a lot more fear facing a 3x raise than there is a click.
Right.
But
Depends who's doing it.
yeah, that's fair too. The point I'm trying to arrive at though is getting raised, right? So first,
The IP raise multi-way in low stakes cash is just nutted.
yeah, it's a little scary.
Yeah.
It's a little bit scary. But the good news is top set of queens has a lot of equity against all the scary hands, i.e. flushes,
Yeah.
and we beat worse sets. So first and foremost, I guess like the decision to bet, I think, is a close one, and that's something that we should examine in the sim. Is how often does he lead out of position on
I
a
would
monotone
guess
board?
Not that often.
I would guess very infrequently
Like,
as well,
I think we prefer check raising.
or just checking in
check-
general.
Right. Yeah.
And I would imagine that, you know, when we do lead, it's probably with a very precise range.
Like bottom set would be much better, right?
You would think.
Yeah.
But
Just
we'll
like check raising all of that stuff, I think.
Well, you're a little bit out there.
Yeah,
Is
check
it?
raise on a monotone board. I don't know if you want to be
I mean,
checking.
the thing
We're
is,
gonna
like,
vote up.
the thing is, you get to
They have
do
a
it.
flush.
You get to do it with all
become
of it.
erect into.
Yeah, I'm a rich whale now. Well, I'm an aspiring rich whale. When I return to poker, I will be fully recreational, and it's gonna be amazing.
That's a
Yep.
beautiful thing. And then
Let me
secondly,
know what game you're in.
I will.
so then secondly, what we have to examine is what happens whenever our opponent sizes down on what is effectively a good range card for both, in the sense that our bet call range is going to include the ace of diamonds a lot, and their imposition raising range is also going to include the ace of diamonds a lot. So what effectively happens on the turn is imposition should now basically have no bluffs, because their bluffs have turned into top pair. Out of position now is pretty heavily dense to bluff catchers and then like some traps. So again, they're going to kind of struggle to have bluffs, but they'll still have some king of diamond in range that maybe in position won't. So now it becomes a question of how are we supposed to handle in position reopening the action for this small size. I think everything as played was pretty good. Obviously, we'll find that his check raise size on the river is way too small. Either you don't check raise or your hand is just worth way more pot share than like quarter pot, whatever it
it's
was
like
he chose.
when you reopen the action, like you're allowing the action to be reopened, so you have to get your value for
You go, like,
for the
250?
fact that you're letting the action reopen, right?
Right, yeah. So I think that you would probably fit sets and flushes, like smaller flushes, all into the same sizing scheme. And it's probably going to be somewhere around like half to 3/4 pot.
Right.
But the bigger question is, or the more zoomed out question is, what drives our check raising range on the end? And what do we expect worse can call, right? So like what types of hands are we targeting that choose to reopen the action again for a third time?
Also, like,
And then could call.
what would we bluff with too?
Yeah, I mean, we should land there with a lot of naked diamonds.
Yeah.
So we can examine like what the specific candidates are.
I think he's almost certainly targeting either a smaller set or like aces up.
Aces up would be a big part of it, but it's
Right.
hard because he flatted in position. So on ace queen 4-3, where he raises on flop, there shouldn't be any offsuit ace 4, ace 3.
As soon as I heard like, oh, I was surprised to see his hand. I knew it was gonna be aces. that
Really?
flatted. Yeah, because like, what else would you be surprised that flatted?
I thought it was gonna be like
It's Texas game. Like,
Yeah.
like they'll
Six-
flat
like-
anything.
Like king
but-
4 suited
or
something.
like ace jack of diamonds.
yeah, but
a hand
that wouldn't be
wouldn't expect.
surprising.
Yeah, that's
Like
Yeah.
aces is the only hand that would be like, why would he flat that?
it's really
Yeah.
great because we're gonna have
Maybe
a
kings,
we're
I
gonna
don't
have a hand to discuss tomorrow during Strat Chat that was submitted by Team Lucky that is very, very, very similar to this one.
Yeah.
I won't spoil it, but we'll discuss it tomorrow. All right, Child of the Sim. What does the Smoky Machine say?
I'm broke at it.
I'm broken at it.
So this is, I just kind of ran it for gun 8
I want to
versus
cut you off,
hijack.
Landon. I'm sorry. Let me just do this now.
Yeah,
You look so angry.
That's good. Get it out of the way.
Angry wizard. So it looks like I gave the flop SPR a little bit more because the guy called on the button but then folded,
Right,
and
yeah.
otherwise we're not going to really get any sort of principles whatsoever. But here we are. It looks like for the under the gun player, there's not that many bets, but more than I thought there was going to be.
Why is it exactly ace 4 and king jack and king 9 that are going
I
so
kind of
hard?
had to custom these ranges as a whole, just because who knows how much he's opening pre with the straddle,
Right,
and
yeah.
then who knows how much this guy's calling behind. Because if he has aces,
I think the range is pretty reasonable. I'm just curious why these
Well, this is
candidates
my
are
range.
Are
I
they
gave this
flushes?
right. I'm not arguing with the range. I'm asking.
No.
Sure, they're just random king 9.
I'm questioning why it's so condensed to ace 4, king 9, and king jack.
That's weird.
I do not know. These questions, they haunt me just as much as they haunt you,
All
sir.
right, go ahead.
So anyways, this is what it comes up with. I'm not sure necessarily what's going on, but like I don't think anybody knows what's going on.
I mean, 6-5-5 would make sense.
Yeah, I mean gutters are nice. You don't really want to use the flopped flush. You kind of want to have it as a check raise, and then you want to have the other ones to potentially bluff some 4 flushes, as well as unblock some of the high Broadway cards for the in position player that did not flop anything good, and are probably going to fold. So this is kind of the strat. Queens, you can get in there a little bit, just kind of mix it up. Mostly want to be checking to protect your range, and then you want to be betting some of your flushes, like ace 4, and then like ace deuce a little bit, I imagine. the lower ones to unblock the high cards for the in position player if he did happen to flop a
Maybe
flush
ace
as well.
4 and king 9 because you can turn gutters and barrel,
Uh,
or like turns draws and I don't know.
I'm not entirely sure
But you
because
can also make like worse or better fold.
yeah, you can definitely make better fold, and I guess you just like stab once, and then like let's just say the turn is
'Cause
a
you can
diamond,
turn
you just kind of give up. You can't really turn much.
king 9 with a queen and turn. Yeah.
Yeah, like you just like turn extra help, but like that.
Yeah.
Oh god. So like on a deuce of diamonds, maybe you use the king 9 to try to bluff a little bit. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, okay, sure, you do get to use it to bluff, is you just kind of have your worst king
Right.
high, as you don't really have much garbage in your range. Anyways, so when we see here, it looks like in position player doesn't really play many raises, so here we are. Wonderful.
Well, we've broke the sim already on
well,
flop.
Yeah, yep. So I just kind of gave a range that looks something like this, I imagine. Like some 3-betting with aces sometimes, give some traps, I imagine. Maybe there's some meta I don't know about. And it looks like you're continuing pretty straightforwardly, where if you have a queen, you call. If you have a diamond, you call. Sometimes you actually have to float some of this king-jack stuff to have bluffs later. And then your offsuit, king X, you can start folding if you don't have a diamond.
So this is a great question to then ask you because it's relevant to your bet. How does one deal with a non-existent theoretical line when they encounter it in practice?
I don't know, Matt. Maybe I should get plus 150 before I answer that question.
Don't
No.
look at me, man.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
just
Well,
he'll
like,
play that shit.
well, it's just more so like when you take, it's kind of when the sim breaks, you kind of have to take the spot for what it is, and you have to say, okay, like what do I have versus what do I think is going on. And when somebody raises in this spot, it's more likely to be valued than not.
Yeah.
Right.
And the bluffs that you are going to see are going to be equity driven versus not.
Yeah, they're gonna be like single diamond.
It'll be like ace king or something, and somehow that's a bluff. Ace king with a diamond.
And a lot of this is born off the fact that the imposition range just can't really construct a polarized range, right? Like it can't even really find the proper candidates to balance value with, so it's just choosing to play trap.
Right, because your bluff needs to be ace king with a diamond, which is too good for the price that you're getting
Right.
with the 2 overs and the
Right.
flush draw.
Right.
So it's not like you have.
Like you just don't
Like
have
your
enough.
worst hands are just still high equity hands.
Yeah, you don't have enough
Yeah.
offsuit ace X that possesses a diamond to do this with, and
Right.
then it's like a torch to take a hand like 9s with a diamond and start bluffing with those.
Yeah.
Right, because you're not bluffing. You have 9s with the diamond
Right.
on queen 7
Right.
3.
Your bottom of range is too strong, and your top of range isn't
I
strong
feel
enough.
like in spots like these is sort of when your pool, like your read on pool tendencies just comes in. Because to me, like whenever I've gotten raised IP and low stakes multi-way on the flop, they just have a set or like
Yeah.
a flat. I mean, they just have something good.
Well,
Right.
what
Right.
happens
I
in
mean,
the
it
smaller
happened,
player
but I know that
pools?
because I paid them off so many times
Right.
Just pay.
with kings or whatever.
Well, in the
Yeah,
small
that's
player
pay.
pool, like the lower stake stuff, the big sort of takeaway is when obscure actions happen from an aggressive node. Most of the time, like they're breaking flow in a way that normally doesn't happen.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
most of
Yeah.
the time in
This is
smaller
like being led
stakes,
into on King 7 Deuce Rainbow.
it's like they mostly see bets and then calls, or if they check, then they want to bet because now it's their turn.
Right.
Mm.
The raising is like the whoa, like you're not supposed to do that, like unless you got
Yeah,
a
'cause
really good hand.
Yeah.
Right.
It was
So that begs the question then, do you take a hand as strong as top set and turn it into one of your bluff catchers, or are you more inclined to start funneling a bunch of money into the middle
I'm
because they're
funneling.
too middled?
funneling.
It depends if I have plus 150 or not.
Okay.
But no, like it's just one of these spots to me where all of the hands that they do have in this spot, they are going to probably continue when they do raise, as there are going to be some queen X. There's going to be some flop flushes already as well. Probably some of the smaller ones. Like I didn't add 10-9 or 9-8 in the range, but maybe they call pre in a tournament versus in
I'd just
a
be
cash
like-
game with an ante and a straddle.
I just set oversetted them if this happened. I'd be like, oh, let's go. We're running it.
I think it's well. This is the call it like live sense of person, where some people will never raise a set because a flush is there, and some
Right.
people will raise a set because a
Just-
flush could get there.
Exactly, which I feel like is more common.
Either way, I would just be inclined to call flop expecting a bet on the turn and then reevaluate. Like, as played, I would be heavily inclined to check raise the turn because of the small size.
Right. I guess I'm gonna node
Right,
lock
because, like,
some equity
Because if
for
they
him.
have like ace of diamonds, then they probably will bet bigger on turn because they'll think that you have a worse diamond, right? Like,
well, I just think that like when that small bet comes through on the turn, it's not flushes anymore because like flushes are gonna feel some urge to protect / get the money in.
Yeah.
So when the small bet comes through, I don't know if it's the naked ace of diamonds that's just turn top pair that they're getting greedy with. I don't know if it's an underset that again they're just like feel the need to bet twice but don't feel like they can bet large. But also all my flushes are going to check call flop as well because I feel like 3-betting the flop hurts you in the sense that it puts them on guard and now they start to shed the bottom faster where they might just continue to bet the bottom because they're already so funneled into strong hands. Right? Like the bottom of range is going to be a hand, like we said, ace king with a diamond, ace queen with a diamond, these types of hands that they're just overvaluing in a spot that they should actually be choosing to bluff catch with these hands. So if that's the case, I'm going to let them overvalue it again on the turn before now I make them scared by putting in a large raise where now maybe they feel committed.
Right.
They've improved in a certain way. Maybe now they have top 2 with ace queen and a diamond. Like we really got them fucked.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I hate this. I'm trying to node lock like some sort of reasonable hands and like combos for it in position.
Yeah.
So I'm going with like ace queen with a diamond maybe.
I think you could just node lock by suit.
How do you do that?
So there's a way that you can sort by suit. I think it's the So if you filter by suit,
offsuit diamond.
Yeah, and then you could just like increase that to like a higher frequency.
I just gave quarter, but maybe it's 50-50. I don't know. We'll try.
Yeah, you gotta include aces and kings, obviously.
Right. Of course.
And then you probably just want to sort by like double suit diamonds, and then have him raise like all of his flushes.
Well, yeah, we'll give some. I guess we'll go half 50-50.
Well,
maybe
you have
maybe
it sorted by both now.
Yeah, both. Yeah. So king 10 of diamonds, 6-5 some of the time. I guess 5-4 if he has it. Who knows? Jack 10 some of the time. Sure. Like he doesn't have that many. I guess, who knows?
Mr. Fantastic, right?
But that's 5-4, yeah.
Justice for invisible woman.
That's what I said. Why is she the worst one?
Really messed up.
Landon.
I'm gonna tell the WPA.
Leave me alone, he said.
Leave me alone. My best dog. So yeah, so queens, you kind of get to do whatever you want. You can choose your own adventure and go for big raise and hope that they have the ace king with the diamond, but mostly you're just going to flat. And it's not necessarily...
It's interesting that it is doing a lot of raising with the nut flush.
Yeah, I mean, they're just condensed towards value, so we just like just say like, all right, like you got a good hand, like I got a good hand.
The problem with this, so this is where I think the disconnect between the solve and reality comes into play, is the solver doesn't understand that humans act on a plane where they will bet to see where they're at. Right? So when he raises in position small like this, it's a feeler play to some degree, right? And if you take the nut flush and you just start cramming a bunch of chips in the middle, they're going to go, ha! I knew it. You got it. All right, buddy. I pass.
Sometimes, or they're only raising with something that they're not going to let go of on the flop. Like,
well, it's hard if you have the nuts.
I got check raised when I flopped the nut. Earlier this week. I literally flopped the nut flush. I had like queen. I think I had queen jack, and it came ace king something, and I got check raised, and I'm just like, oh, that's just a small flush. But if I like re-aggress, they might find the fold, right? So I had to just call, and they bet real small on the turn.
Yeah,
I'm like call it again, and then the river paired.
That's the worst.
And they checked.
Yeah.
And I bet, and then they called.
Try call. Yeah.
Right. Like, but like I didn't know like. I'm like, how do I get more like?
Yeah.
Is there? I was like, is there any really thing I can do? And I said to him, I was like, yeah, if I like re-raise you on the flop, he's like, oh, I'd probably fold. Yeah.
Really?
They're just so accustomed to like.
I feel like I've gotten paid off there
because
a lot.
like like in this pool, like nobody like on a monotone board is gonna 3-bet without like the nut flush.
It's just not that
feared
hard
of running into the nut flush.
Yeah, it's just not that hard for even the worst players in a pool to think, do I beat value, and come to the conclusion of no.
Yeah.
Like if you have a 5-high flush and you ask yourself like, oh, this guy just 3-bet the flop, do I actually beat any value?
Maybe people just call me light. I feel like they think a lot of times like it's a draw of some sort.
But he's also right, because like what hands that don't beat a flush, am I going to 3-bet him with there?
Only bluffs,
like,
but
only
like,
like the nut
even,
flush draw. Like
but even
nut,
like your bluffs aren't very
I guess
incentivized.
maybe
that's
the nut flush blocker, like obviously, but like,
even that's not super incentivized.
Right.
You have position, you
I
can
just
just
feel
call.
like
Exactly.
sometimes you can tell when someone doesn't want to fold, and then you just get all in.
Well, yeah, but
That's
we
true,
can't.
too.
We can't measure that
Yeah, I
here.
know.
we can't, right?
Well, if I look that into this wizard, then the wizard will say
Lock
you
it
can
in.
Yeah, lock it in. Lock in.
Lock it in. Just lock in.
So
Lock
yeah,
it until I'm right, okay?
yeah. When it comes, it's weird because like the way that I would see a solve response here would like be something along the lines of wanting to raise more of the high-low kickers that don't interfere with the flushes for hijack. What I mean by that is like ace jack, you don't really want to raise because you block jack 10 suited. But a hand like ace deuce of diamonds would be nice, as the deuce of diamonds doesn't exist in the hijack range, right? It's like there's no double diamond hands that contain a deuce of diamonds. So why would I want to raise ace jack of diamonds?
Mm-hmm.
But moral of the story being, their raise, if it's too high equity dense and their bluffs are just really good hands, it's okay to just say like, fuck it, we ball. Like I'm just going to re-raise with my hands that can potentially stack off. Shout out to Under the Machine thinking that like using 7-6 as a 3-bet is a good idea. Bad idea. So he raises, we call, and the turn is the ace of spades, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we check, as we do. The machine's so broken, it's activating all in strategy. So we can lead now, as most of our hands like kind of connect in some regard. I would assume he's not, and I wouldn't lead either, as like I kind of just let the guy do what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just gonna put this away because it's not very helpful.
So we just have pure check.
Yeah, I would never lead this turn. So we check, and he now goes for 10.3, like B30. How much did he bet? In the-
50 into.
He bet 15 to like 300, I think.
ah,
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct. 50 into 1. Sorry, hold on.
because this is a B40 size.
Looks like 50 into 145.
Oh, so like B33, like be sure. Let's go to percent.
50 into 220. Sorry, Landon.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the
Oh,
river. The
sure,
river is
so
when he
it's-
bet 50 into 3.
So it's like 25%.
Quap. Put a pot.
Yeah, quarter pot.
Like the game, like the Olympic game, we have to move the guy.
Well, for when I was growing up, a quap was a quarter pound
I see.
weed.
Got it.
I thought you meant McDonald's.
Me too. Anyways, so for turn, he does get to do this sometimes, I suppose. Aces is going to want to do it all the time, as you have 3 aces with the diamond. You need to get some money in, and you have to hope that your opponent has something decent. Where if the gun 8 player wants to put in a raise with some hands, you don't really care, because you can make a flush, you can make a full house, you could set over set them sometimes as seen. So you just kind of want to put some money in, and then you want to use king jack as well. And here's kind of where the machine breaks more, is you'll see like some of the hands that exist for the hijack are supposed to be hands like 6s with no suit, 6-5.
Weird.
So like these hands that it's just trying to pull from somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's very,
'Cause
very
it's like,
difficult.
where am I?
It's like where am I bluffing? Like where are my bluffs now? You know?
How did I get here?
Where are my bluffs? They don't exist.
Yeah.
So hijack goes quarter. And now with queens, you're like, you know what? I'm kind of scared because he could have a flush and he could have really good hands. But I don't want to play for all of it right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you mostly want to try to make a boat, or sometimes 4 flush check is nice for you.
Is that 18%?
Not with queens,
Not
just with range.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Like king, queen, no suit, you want to fold.
I was like, what the?
10s with a diamond, you're kind of mad now. King,
Gotcha.
jack with a diamond, you're kind of mad now.
Yeah.
And things along these lines. You actually start bluffing with ace of diamonds, jack, but that's a little bit adventurous because you block the aces for them and you block their flushes. But once again, they're probably more weighted towards value. We call, and the river is an offsuit 8, right? Like 8 of clubs or something. 8 of clubs?
Yeah, 8 of clubs.
We check because we don't want to bet into him. And then he went. So his size here.
Now he goes like 1/6 pot.
Right.
Yeah.
Really.
What's the machine thing of
Machine likes using pot here as him, so 1/6 of that is probably not going to be too thrilling. So 5 big blind, 5 straddles have gone in the middle because I reduced the SPR. And now it doesn't want to use it at all, really. It wants to go all in, unless you got aces.
Wow.
The custom bet,
The custom
the custom bet.
Aces is pure.
That's so funny.
It is pure 16% when given the option.
This is like, all right, you know
Too
what?
good to jam.
Yeah, you can't pilot.
Ridiculous.
So
Ridiculous.
Well, because queens probably becomes
the fact that we're
indifferent.
running this hand is absurd.
If you jam aces, I'm sure queens just like starts
This hand's
folding.
just like not gonna happen that often.
yeah, like
Well,
kings,
the
you're,
hands
like,
in the muck.
queens, you actually just call because it's like, what do you get called by? As
Well, it's also because
the only
the
combo is
driving-
aces.
Only
Yes.
betting aces.
right. The driving hand is aces.
Like ace king is gonna start checking
That's
back a
funny.
ton. Ace of it's weird. Like is this a bluff? I don't know. You know, like if we jam ace king with the diamond.
I don't think that. Yeah. I mean,
think
it has
it
to be
is.
right if
I
you're not
think it
if you're not
is.
jamming
I mean,
aces.
king 10 suited is indifferent, right?
Yeah,
so it
look,
is a bluff.
queen's pure folds versus
Jam.
jam.
Yeah. So you just good luck.
Right.
So yeah, queens. Like I guess the issue here is raising is mildly thin in the machine just because of the range that it wants to go 5 with.
Well,
But
the machine's
lock
actually
it, right?
look. We don't really have to go any further. I think we
you.
have our answer.
Thank God.
It feels so.
I'm done.
It feels so weird, like running a hand like that.
Well, I think we have our answer, but the point is
I'm in the muck now.
too
Yeah,
early,
well,
too
yeah.
early with this.
Yeah, we still got to discuss what's going on here.
This type of arrogance is what's going to have J-Bex fucking mop the floor with you,
come
okay?
on. I
Like-
don't say that.
you
I'm invested.
you
now.
can't treat these things as so trivial. This happens all the
That's
fucking
true.
time.
It does
All
happen.
the time.
It's true.
And the fact of the matter is,
Go to the jewel.
I do think that the machine illustrates what's mostly important there, which is by the time you land at river through this line, there's no constructed bluffs. You just can't have them, right? Like no matter what range we give hijack, no matter
I feel like we can decide that on flop.
well, we did. That's what I mean. Like when you start to reverse engineer, we recognize like, okay, when he clicks, there isn't enough naked diamonds here. Like there isn't enough naked ace of diamonds.
Yeah.
There isn't enough naked, because like for him to even have naked ace of diamonds, we're giving him traps like aces, ace king, ace queen.
Hands that he should be 3-betting,
Right,
but he chose to not. And that happens a lot in
Of course.
the live realm.
Of course, and
For
we
sure.
could expand it to have him having ace jack off, ace 10 off,
Of course,
perhaps.
yeah, those hands don't get 3-bet nearly.
But
the
at some
frequency
point
they should.
we hit a cutoff, right, where even the looser players in the game aren't going to be flatting like ace 7 off all that often.
Right.
And when they are, generally when you find people who flat too widely pre the ace 8, the ace 7s, the ace 6, ace 5 offsuits, they don't raise flop.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't turn it into
for
a
sure
bluff.
not,
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And especially not for a click. The click just reeks of a hand that is winning in their mind, but is maybe too weak to be all in at this particular juncture of the hand, right? So I think like that's the signal to take away. And by the river through the sim, it illuminates why.
Yeah.
Right? It demonstrates to you what happens when you're against a bounded range that doesn't possess bluffs.
Like in the impositions player's mind, he's like, "Oh, wow, okay, well we got this board. I'll click when he calls." When a brick
check
balls
back
off,
turn.
I'll just check back turn.
Right.
Not, but then he turns top set. He's
Ace
like,
of clubs.
now I
Almost
got to get value.
right.
His sizing is almost like kind of is like mergy
100%,
sizing
yeah.
because he's like, well, just in case he has a flush, I don't want to bet too much.
Right, because now if he 3-bets me, I can comfortably call
Yeah.
and it's okay.
Right.
And like Brian said, if the turn is just like an offsuit deuce, he might just derive like, oh, my aces are just not worth as much
Don't want to
pot
get
share.
check raised here. Don't want to just
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a weird hedgy size.
It's also a byproduct of like feeling like you missed the 3-bet pre, right? So it's like, oh, I didn't 3-bet this hand pre. Now we're multi-way. Because like now that you're multi-way, you want the guy behind you coming in. You have the
Yeah.
ace of diamonds.
We're playing
Right.
catch
Right,
up.
but he's actually shutting him out because he's like, well, I didn't 3-bet pre, so I got to build this pot a little bit. Let me click here. It's small enough where if the guy behind me flopped the flush, he might just cold call or 3-bet small enough that I can continue. You know, it's a lot of like micromanaging the specific spot in the moment, and this is how the majority of the weaker pools play.
That's true.
They're street by street, decision by decision, hand by hand, not range considerate, not
Like there
global
is,
strategy
there is like
considerate.
I mean, I don't know if logic's the right word, but there is a logic. Like they are it's not like they're just doing whatever. Like
Correct.
they are doing something that they might repeat at some point.
Exactly. It appears random, but
Yeah.
you're right. It's derived from specific lines of thinking
Yeah, there's a process.
that are very limited to the scope through which they see the game, right? And when you're
I want these certain things to happen,
Exactly.
so I act this way, so they happen. But a lot of the times, it's out of their control.
correct, and the issue then becomes, or the trap, I would say, becomes for like really good players whose scope is broadened and sees the game from a global level, from a range versus range in comparison and everything else. You get lost because this is noise to you, you know. But for them, it's not noise; it's very specific. And it's very driven by the way that their brain is calculating this in the moment thing. So there is absolutely a lot to be derived from having a finger on the pulse for the way that people see these spots and the mistakes that they're going to make. And that's the biggest takeaway that I think is worth noting, is that when people say GTO doesn't apply to my game, well, I would just argue that you're applying it incorrectly. It absolutely applies. It will show you how to take advantage of the mistakes that are being made. You just have to be able to draw one-to-one parallel.
Like, it's not surprising to see that Queen's calls River Beef 13
right
based off of the custom range, because in these spots, in the bigger field versus the high roller scene, is the high roller scene is very range versus range dependent, as people don't want to get exploited or have people start folding really good hands,
right,
or start folding bluff catches pure where they don't have bluffs. But in the live smaller stakes environment, it's spot versus spot of in this spot right now, I have this hand, what do I want?
Right, he's choosing to reopen for 13% pot in a spot where he could just check down and win.
Right.
That's not nothing, right? We know already that it's not a bluff. Now it just becomes a matter of like, well, is it ever ace queen? Is it ever ace king? And for the reasons that I can't say no, I don't fault the raise.
I don't either. And the raise is even like a small size. It's kind of sick.
Yeah, and you know, maybe I would argue that the raise is a little bit too small. Like, you at least want to give ace king and ace queen a decision. You don't want them to just happy call and just be like, oh, whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe tack another $100 on there. If you value cut yourself, you value cut yourself. But the bigger thing to take away is that if he sees this spot a dozen times and plays it out the exact same way every single time, he's probably going to value cut himself 11 out of 12 times. Right. And that then becomes the issue. And we can glean that simply by running a locked version of this. Like, that's a dirty sim. That by no stretch of the imagination is that output anywhere remotely close to accurate as far as like how you should theoretically approach it. But it doesn't matter, because the bigger principle that you're able to extract out of it is simply that when a range that doesn't possess enough bluffs starts to take aggressive action, we can then counter very exploitatively. And that's exactly what happens. You see that hands that should be willing to play for much greater portions of the pot, like top set, smaller flushes, things of that nature.
Set over set, and he didn't get stacked.
Right. It ends up funneling itself to bluff catching with those types of hands, and then hands that should otherwise be utilized as bluffs themselves, or whatever, shift strictly into give ups. So you go into this heavy exploitative mode where it's just like, if this guy puts in a big bet at any point, I might fold top set or second set now based off of what the turn card is. And of course that comes with having some vision over what his flat calling range is, which we clearly don't have, but we are able to marry the actions that are taken with a presumptive range, right? His flat calling range might be incredibly wide, but the hands that he selects to min raise with on the flop is incredibly narrow. And that's the only range that really matters, right? We can just limit him to that range whenever we run the spot, and we'll still take away the same the same theoretical principles, right? And that's all that truly matters. That's what we're studying for. That's how we utilize sims to play exploitatively. It's not about trying to get into the weeds and say like, oh man, if he c-bets a little bit too big here with way too many hands, like I'm picking up 1/10 of a pot of an EV. It's like, yeah, that's nice, but like that's also going to require a really sharp eye versus somebody that you have pretty fair knowledge of their strategy over. Let's just take the low-hanging fruit.
Yeah.
I guess like the way that I see these things when it comes to the whole is like theory doesn't work in my games. It's like, okay, I'd rather have a Swiss Army knife than a pocket knife in some cases. Yeah. Where the pocket knife is just like, okay, I've seen. Well, no, Swiss Army knife is like you have extra tools.
Like
you have extra tools
on
like just extra shit. Point being, the pocket knife can just see that this guy has really good hand. Like, I don't want to go too crazy here. I've played enough spots versus machine, like call it, it's like Swiss Army knife, just saying, okay, I know things like this. I've seen so many things. This tool, like the pocket knife, is the correct tool for this spot.
Correct.
Where you play somebody really good, you're like, you know what? I don't know what he's doing. I need to know what the counter is to playing a non-exploitable strategy.
I think it's a really great analogy, and I think you can even apply it specifically to the spot in the sense that when the fourth diamond comes off or the board pairs, now the correct tool is not necessarily the pocket knife. Right? You'll have times where you have the ace of diamonds facing this min-raise in position and the fourth diamond rolls off. You'll have times where you have this top set and the board pairs. Now you do need to find one of those other tools because what happened is this guy turned his hand face up on the flop,
Right.
and now you've improved. So how do you continue to extract value from somebody who's playing very transparently and is fearful of the fact that they've gotten sucked out on some period of time?
I kind of love these spots, like, because I just feel like it triggers all memories of the times that I have played them, unfortunately.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh, I know this now.
Yeah.
And then it just becomes so recognizable because they really, I said before, like, this doesn't happen, but actually, like, these types of things are pretty consistent, even though they seem like they'd be rare. Like, in low stakes pools, stuff like it seems random, but actually there is like a line of thinking that is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
And I feel like once you recognize it, it's very like easy.
Yeah, and I think that is, bringing this full circle to the Becker bet. I think that's what a lot of people are recognizing from the Becker camp.
Yeah.
And why so many people are willing to pile money in on that side is because these little nuances do offer a whole fucking lot of win rate. And the fact of the matter is, early on in these events, you'll be presented a lot of these spots. And you'll have the opportunity to potentially bust yourself with top set here versus aces with the ace of diamonds that you never saw being in range, or versus a flop flush or whatever. Or you'll be able to navigate your way away, losing the minimum, right?
Yeah.
It's the differential between trying to win the maximum versus losing the minimum. And there are times to be in both mindsets, right? Like there are times where you have to be trying to win the max. There are other times where you're trying to just lose the min. So I do understand the value and why people are invested in that sort of strategy as it navigates through a pool that is relatively recreational. The tricky part then becomes when all the money is on the line, will there be enough people playing this sort of strategy that you can recoup all of the benefits versus the Swiss Army knife, who's capable of just executing a strategy that follows an ICM model.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with tournaments is like it sort of starts off as like a low stakes cash game, and then it kind of cream rises.
Of course.
It's just a reverse game where the shallower the SPR deeper, the more money it's worth.
Yeah.
And it feels like you play deeper. It's like, oh, I got all these chips. It's like, well, like people can still enter the tournament. You're basically playing the same buy and you were just playing at the start.
It's a fascinating conversation because I think that it at least presents an appearance of this bet being incredibly fair. And it actually might be. We'll never know. We're not going to be able to see enough iterations of it. But it'll be a fun sweat because we do know that they're going to be navigating these fields in two very, very different veins. Two very different strategies.
What do we got for updates? Are we going to have some live updates or?
I believe so.
We'll definitely be updating.
You
Sounds
mean
like a
him taking a picture of me getting dusted?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need more.
We need more of that.
I really hope this is like a race to the top kind of thing where you both you guys, where you both have just really big summers and it's going back and forth. But yet at the end of the day, someone wins. Someone wins a little bit off the bet, and you both have a really good summer. That'd be great.
I feel like there's a do factor here. No.
Yeah,
I think there could be some
do theory is real.
I don't know, but I know that I have way too much skin in the game to root for what Lamanna just said. I do not want to be suffering.
This man.
Yeah, like
sorry to this man.
Like if you guys break even, fine, but otherwise, fucking bury him because I absolutely don't want to see like them trading off 6-figure scores. Yeah. That ain't good for my health.
Yeah, that would be stressful.
It's fun. You like the sweat.
It would be fantastic for poker if like they were swapping 6-figure scores.
Make an FT together.
Right. Yeah, I know. I was going to say.
Just like throwing haymakers back and forth. That would be so cool.
Yeah, you definitely want to see more of the offensive bout.
Right.
There's a lot of, it's getting to be a bunch of side action now too. So people.
We're months away still.
I know.
We are months away. So much is going to change.
Closer than you think, Burke. It's closer than you think.
So much is going to change between now and the end of May.
Yeah, I'm
Like, the
showing up to
market's gonna
dailies
move.
now, man. I might win one, and then people are like, "Holy shit!"
We need like a
Well,
live.
that's okay because
market
Jeremy's gonna
tracker.
win like 5 or 6 tournaments between now and then.
So I think the big thing is you were talking about that spreadsheet. I think like creating a version of it that's public for like the media outlets to latch onto and integrate into their site or whatever, so there's a daily tracker would be fantastic. I think like that will then empower them to find situations where like you're both running a day 2 together simultaneously, or somebody's making a day 2 that's actually a sweat.
Imagine if you guys final table something together.
I know it would be
man.
so. It would be so high.
Fucking torture.
Just imagine that would be so great.
Berkey's gonna be there like his
God,
asshole
I would
just
be
clenched.
so drunk on the rail.
You don't know the joy of drunk Lamanna on your rail. I might make another final table this summer just to
There you
experience
go.
it.
Let's do it.
I'd love to experience it.
Lamanna came to, so was it 2 summers ago I made my last final table?
I think so. Yeah.
No, last summer you did something, but I think you got 7th or something.
I got 12th in the 10K
Oh.
mystery bounty.
It was the year before.
The year before I went deep, I think in the 2,500 or something.
I went straight down and started drinking. I told everyone, I was like, just show up. I'll be there with beers.
I had chip lead with like 25 left, all the way down through till like 11 left or something like that, and then we just hit a real stall point. But Lamanna's there with like 2 tables remaining, just throws out the social tweet of, "Hey, I'm here on the rail and I got beers."
Well, everybody wanted updates too, so I was tweeting
I
all your
remember
updates.
that, yeah.
And people just started showing up, smashing beers with Lamanna on the rail.
Yeah.
And then Randall Emmett out of the blue just flies into the Rio. They had to like escort him out.
Was it the Rio?
Or,
No,
It
I think it
was,
was
yeah.
Paris.
no,
years
it
ago
was the Rio.
No,
Yeah.
2 years ago was Paris.
The only time I ever
Paris.
Oh,
played.
you're right. It was Paris.
Oh,
Yeah.
3 years
But the
ago was the Rio.
It was in the Thunderdome. You're on the side table.
right.
The Thunderdome
Yeah.
was behind it, though.
Right.
Yeah.
You're a side table.
Yeah. So
Right, because the main event was going on, remember? And
Yeah.
they were getting mad because they could hear me
Oh,
on the main
yeah.
event
not
coverage.
you, Randall.
Oh, maybe Randall, yeah.
They had to like escort
the only
Randall
person that can be
out.
louder than me.
He's just
Sober.
screaming like a madman. I have 7 big blinds.
Let's go, Berkey.
Just raise folding ace 10. Like
Yeah.
to button this up and move on.
Good fold, Berkey. Good fold.
There was a spot at the final table where I opened off of like 14 from the hijack with ace 10 off, and the cutoff called, and he was just a guy that like I had a really good pulse on like the way he was playing, and it came like ace 7-4. I think I c-bet and he clicked on me, almost exactly like this hand that we're playing. I peel, the turn's a brick, and he jams for like pot and a half, and I just go, I don't know how you fucking have me beat, but I can't possibly win here. And I fold face up, and he shows 7s for a middle
I
set.
remember that.
And it's like, yeah, like that's just worth so much win
Right.
rate. I mean,
Yeah.
it didn't come to fruition. I ended up busting 8th or 9th anyway.
But especially when it's your tournament life, potentially,
Right.
like it's worth so much.
It still had the opportunity to come to fruition. I ended up getting
Right.
in ace 10 versus 10s for like a 22 big blind pot, where it's like if I suck out there, now all of a sudden that fold ends up being worth like tens of thousands of dollars,
Right.
which is pretty critical. And being wrong there is equally, costing you that double up, which is, costing you a ton of fucking money. So yeah, I mean, like being able to navigate that meta and having some sort of like sense of the mistakes that your opponents are making because they aren't studied. That's what it is to be a pro, right? Is to take advantage of those who don't care to do the work and don't just trust that in
Well, it's a lot
theory
of
they're
times
losing.
Lazy. It's a lot of lazy thinking or like lazy strategy where they're
By
kind of,
them, you're saying?
yeah, where
Yes.
they're kind of merging stuff, they're
Yeah.
hedging, and it's very transparent that they're like hedging their bet, like
Right.
they're trying to target like a very like I don't want to target flushes, but I do
Right,
want to
right.
target hands worse than mine. When really like you are still targeting flushes,
Right,
But, like,
yeah.
it's like very kind of like lazy thing. You have to left curve it.
Yeah.
Like you just have to like turn your brain off a little, be like, what would I do if I wasn't thinking?
And I think that's kind of the problem with like the most studied individuals is that they have kind of turned their brain off in the sense that they trust the strategy to just take hold. So they're just executing according to what they know, what they've learned, et cetera, and they're not paying close enough attention to the obvious exploit that's available to them. Now, I don't say that as a sweeping statement. I don't think everybody's doing that. I think that the most studied, the best of the best are very quick. Pads is a great example. I think like he's very in tune to his environment and he's very quick to make hero folds. I remember he folded like ace queen on an ace high board versus like one bet whenever he went deep in the tag team. And I'm just like, what the fuck is going on here, man? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
But
I
you know,
remember that, yeah.
it just ends up being pretty correct whenever you break down, like, well, what type of range is aggressing here? Like, let me think about the type of hands that they feel like they can call me with pre-flop, that type of stuff, you know? And yeah, you just venture being wrong sometimes, and that's okay.
Yeah, I guess when you're opening yourself up to trying to make big deviations, you just have to accept that you're not going to be able to be perfect. Where
Right.
people will do things that surprise you. I guess it's kind of funny, like, and at some point, like, you don't have a choice and your hands are tied, and that's tournaments, you know? I think that people think that just because you have some sort of live feel or sense that you're not just busting tournaments left and right, where sometimes you're just handicapped and it's not your day, where, like, call it in the daily prior to the shower pick, the empty chair. It's like, guy I've never played with before, like probably like mid-30s, like, but blinds are 1K 1,500. He opens to 7,000 from low jack, and I'm a small blind with 16 bigs, ace queen suited, and I'm like, fuck me. So I'm just like, all right, I guess I'm all in and I'm all out.
Yeah.
So
Parking lot. You hit the parking lot hand.
Parking lot hand.
Ace queen suited is nice. Ace queen off parking lot.
Yeah.
So pile, and I'm like, okay, like, and then like he kind of took a while to call. I'm like, oh, that's nice. Probably like maybe like ace 10 off,
it's ace
you
king.
know, ace king off,
Yeah, of
and it's
course.
just like,
I was thinking ace
all
king
right.
or jacks.
Yeah.
Like
yeah, ace king jacks, like ace jack suited, you never really know, and it's just like, okay, like
rubble hand.
that's just a spot where you're allowed to lose.
Yeah.
And like you just have like part of the game is built into just you getting dealt out of the tournament.
Of course. That's a big underlying factor to this, which is why we're not really going to get to see a true man versus machine type of event here, right? Like the sample just doesn't allow for it. But, you know, assuming you guys bob and weave here and there and make a couple deep runs, I think we should get a pretty fun sweat.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
That is the plan. All right, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Melissa, it's a pleasure as always. Don't forget, we do have 2 academies in May, the Cash Academy as well as the MTT Academy, if you guys are getting ready to prep for the WSOP. Also, all of March, we're going to be running dealer academies. If you guys are interested in any of the above, head to academy.solveforwhy.io. Be sure to check it out. You'll find more information on all 3 if you have any interest there. We'll be back again tomorrow at noon Pacific. We're going to be joined by Matt Hunt talking Strat Chat. We're going to be covering one of the hands from Team Lucky featuring Matt Glantz. You won't want to miss it. We'll see you guys all then.
Peace.
Peace.